Hello and happy Wednesday. It is May 30th, 2018, and I want to welcome you to my One Card Wonder Wednesday. Today we are going to be making a super adorable birthday card with the Varied Vases stamp set from Stampin' Up. Let's get started. The first thing I want to show you is the cardstock we're going to use is Granny Apple Green, Whisper White, Poppy Parade, and we're going to use a tiny piece. It's a 1/4 inch piece. It's 6 inches wide right now, but we won't quite use that entire piece. It's the wood DSP, wood texture DSP, which comes in so many different shades of wood planks, and it also has some like slices of the inside of trees. It is just a really versatile DSP, and you can use it on a lot of projects, but we're going to use it today on this project to make the shelf on our card because I thought that looked like a cute little floating shelf. So we're going to set these aside for now. We're going to take one piece of our Whisper White DSP, and we are going to, actually I've already got one on here, never mind, we're not going to use that piece. We've got a piece right here. We are going to use the Stamparatus today. This is available on June 1st. It is a fantastic tool. I need to wipe just a little bit of ink off that spot right there from using it earlier. Now, I've already placed all of my pieces. As you can see, I have a lot of little pieces on this, and I have it on all 4 sides of my plates. The reason I set this up earlier is because it takes a little time because you mess around, and you can see I did this one, I did this one. I just played around a little bit with where I wanted my vases and what colors I wanted to use. And those all turn into cards too, but I love the color combination that I used for the card that we are going to be making. So I've already got my Whisper White laid down. I've got it held down with my magnets. You got to remember not to let your magnets come close to each other because they can snap and break. You can see I've got I don't know if you can see or not, but there's a little corner off from this one where I made that mistake. And I would hate for you to do that because sometimes it can make it a little sharp edge. Some people cover theirs with duct tape, which I just haven't done that yet. And I may not, I'm not sure. So the first thing I want to do is I want to grab my little piece of wood texture DSP, and I think I'm going to use this side of it because it looks like it has a little more texture. I'm going to lay it down, and I'm going to take my snail adhesive, and I'm just going to actually snail it all up. It's going to leave a little bit of adhesive on my paper here, and you can just rub that off real quick and it will come right off so you don't stick anything else to that. Then I want to take this, I need to make sure I have it in the right place. This is my line here, where that lays. I'm going to lay that right there. And so now when I stamp, my little edge is going to be right there. Now since we're going to be stamping this all at one time on this plate, I need to move this over. I don't think you can see it quite as good as I want you to. I have several things on this plate. I have the birthday wishes, I have the stem of poppies, a stem here, and I have this little cute little scallop edge that's going on the counter. We're going to use the memento on everything except the orchid flower. The orchid flower is going to be done in Flirty Flamingo, so I have to be careful not to make sure I don't get any on my Flirty Flamingo because I don't want any memento ink on that. I just want these ones, all these other ones, to be nice and inked. And it's not as easy. It's not hard, but it's not as easy as you think it would be sometimes, just because you want to make sure you get everything inked. But the beautiful thing about using the Stamparatus is after you've put everything down, you can go back, and that's what I'm going to do. I wanted to make sure I had most of this inked good with the black, and I will go over it just a little bit more. And then I'm going to add my Flirty Flamingo to my flowers. This is where the magic comes in, because you gotta just get the corner of this, because I have this over here. I don't want to accidentally touch it with my Flirty Flamingo, because I don't want any memento on my Flirty Flamingo ink pad. And you can always take these apart and, or not take them apart, but take your other pieces off if you want to, if you're only making the one card. And you can see that one spot, I still keep not getting it quite stamped. So let me press down really hard right there. There we go. Now I've got it. Now I'm just going to take a baby wipe that I used earlier. I'm just going to quickly just wipe that off for now, just so it's not all inky, because I don't want to flip this over to the other side and get ink on my foam mat that I have right here. Flip it over to this side. Now these are the outline of my vases, and on my vases I also wanted to use, get that under there so it's nice and flat, use the memento for the outlines. So like I said, I've already had these placed, so I know they're going to go on my shelf where I want them, and I'm just going to press down, and now those are on there. And now I can take this one off just because I don't need it now, and that way it's just out of my way. The next one we want to do, and I'm going to turn this sideways. I know it looks a little crazy, but that way I can lay it flat while I'm putting the ink on it. This is another, this is going to be all with memento. Most of this that I'm doing on the Stamparatus is with the memento ink, and that's because we're going to color some in with markers and also with a little bit of ink on these. You can see now it's perfectly aligned around my flowers because I laid it out earlier and I knew where I was going to be going. Just going to wipe that off a little bit, and I'm going to flip back around to this side now. Now on these vases, I just want to do a small amount of Pool Party to make it look like there's water in the vases. So I'm just going to get my Pool Party, flip it around. I tried Balmy Blue. I didn't quite like the way that color turned out. For me, I liked Pool Party better, but you can do whatever color you want for your water. You can make it green, you can make it purple. It's up to you. Personally, I like the Pool Party. And then as you flip that down, make sure you press hard, because you want to get that color in your vase. And as you can see, now this is completely stamped. I'm just going to move this plate off just so it's out of the way so you can see better what we just stamped. And there's our image. And we have this little piece stuck here, but that's no big deal. We're just going to cut that off anyway, because we don't need that piece. Now the beautiful thing about this is, now I can go back and make 10 cards just like this if I want to. I can take the words off. I can add different words like happy anniversary or whatever sentiment you want to put on there. I'm going to go ahead and move the Stamparatus aside because we don't need that anymore for this project. And we are going to take the Granny Apple Green, and we are going to stamp a cute little vase, one of the vases from the set onto a scrap piece of Whisper White. Now, here's where another fun thing comes in, is we have this punch that, sorry, that goes with the varied vases, and for some reason it's totally left my brain what the name of the punch is, and of course it's not on here, but it works with the varied vases. You can get it in the bundle with the varied vases beginning on June 1st. And I'm just going to punch that little vase out. Now if I was really good, I would have stamped my little vase and my larger vase and then punched out, but I'm not quite that good at getting it where I want it. So I'm just going to take the Granny Apple Green, close that up, because I do not want to accidentally stamp that with my Mango Melody, which I think is just a fun, bright color. And I want to make a larger vase with that, and that's going to be this little fluted shaped vase. And I'm just going to ink my stamp up, I'm gonna stamp it, and I'm gonna clean that real quick and just remove that so it's out of the way. And then I'm gonna go ahead and ink up my next vase, which is the larger vase, this shaped vase, with Poppy Parade. Poppy Parade is another one of my favorites. It's just a bright color. It's between an orange and a red. It literally is a poppy color, and I just love it. That might be because poppies are one of my favorite flowers, but I don't know if that's necessarily the reason why I like it. I just think it just is such a bright, vibrant color, and it just looks so pretty in stamped images. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna punch these out. First, we're gonna do this little fluted vase. I have the extra paper here. Let's hope I can get it all the way in to my punch where I want it. If not, I may, let me just try a bigger piece of paper. I should have started with that one. That's all right. I still have my Poppy Parade out. We can just stamp it real quick. Put it on another piece of paper. And we will punch that one out. I love the punches because it's just fun to be able to stamp something and then punch it out and watch where you're punching it out, of course. Now I have a small little white vase, which I can go back and stamp again if I want to. Like I said, if I practiced enough to where I knew how to space them perfectly, I could have punched both of those vases at the same time, my stamped images, that is. But I'm just not quite that good. Okay, so I'm going to flip these over, and I'm going to put a Stampin' Dimensional on each of those. As soon as I figure out where I set my Stampin' Dimensionals, that always seems to be the one thing I lose when and they're right in front of my face, of course. I'm just going to put a large one on each vase. And then I want to take a little bit of Wink of Stella, now that this ink is dry, and I'm just going to color in over the water just to make it a little sparkly, because I think it just adds a little touch to the card. And as you can see, I got my water a little bit out of the edge on there, but that's not going to make that big of a difference. Once we get everything done, I'm going to use Poppy Parade, a Stampin' Write marker, to color in these flowers because I believe they look like poppies. That's my opinion. They may be a completely different flower, but I like to think they're poppies, so that's what I'm going to color them in as. But I also colored them in on one of the other cards earlier that I was messing around with the Daffodil Delight, and I think that turned out cute too. So now this little flower here, I want to make him bright as well. I used Pacific Point on this one, and I think I'm going to change that up, and I'm going to use Bermuda Bay. I just want to give it a little bit, or I'm sorry, Coastal Cabana, a little bit different color, but it's kind of close to the color of the water, so maybe I won't. Maybe we'll just change it to, we'll do a Melon Mambo, and then all of our flowers are kind of in the same color group, but all different colors. I'm going to add a little bit of Daffodil Delight around the center of these orchids, and then I'm also going to take the Poppy Parade, and I'm just going to, around the three larger flowers, just do a little dab right around the center of the flower, just to give it a little more color. Now you could use your Stampin' Blends and blend these in to make them really, really vibrant if you wanted to. But with it being such a smaller image, I didn't want to do that. I'm going to use the Granny Apple Green, and I'm going to go ahead and color just this leaf in. I just love this Granny Apple Green color. It's one of my favorites. And so every color that I used on this card came from the Brights collection, except for the Whisper White and the Pool Party. Pool Party is from the Subtle collection. So now I'm going to take a piece of Poppy Parade that I cut to fit behind this, and I'm just going to adhere that down with some snail adhesive. you don't have to use a lot. You don't have to do the entire edge on each. I try to do either the top or the bottom the entire edge, and then the opposite I just do a smaller piece, because you don't want to waste your adhesive. You want it to go as far as possible. And then next we're going to go ahead and fold our Granny Apple Green in half, and we will use our bone folder to make a nice crease. And I am going to do the same thing. Except this time I'm going to do a longer strip along the long side and a shorter strip of snail along the top and bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and put that together, and then I'm going to remove the adhesive from these, and we are going to add our vases to the card. The extra vases. I mean, obviously we already have vases on here. And this time, let me see, I think I'll add a big one here. In the original photo I had a smaller one, but I kind of like that bigger one. And I'm going to add our fluted one there, and then our small fluted one right here. And so now you can see, even with the two different style of vases, it still makes a super cute card. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're wanting to order, you can go to my website, valeriesmith.stampinup.net. I have 2 host codes here. One is for May, one is for June. If you're waiting for the new catalog, you're going to use the June host code starting on June 1st. But anything before June, use the May host code. Unless your order is over $150, then you will earn your own Stampin' rewards that way. So I hope you have a great Wednesday, and I will see you next week for One Card Wonder Wednesday again. Thank you. Bye.